Oh my God. I would suggest you stop. Mia has a pair of precious people. But she doesn't like them. It's inconvenient to go to a nightclub or a bar. She is usually in a hurry. So Mia decided to go to the hospital to make them smaller. But on the way, she met a group of gangsters. Their eyeballs were about to fall on her. This made Mia's mind more firm. But her mother, Alison, was so angry after knowing this. She thought her daughter was a fool. This is what many poor sisters can't ask for. She actually wants to make them smaller. Mia asked her boyfriend, Michael, out of nowhere, "If you become smaller, will you still like me?" But Michael said something serious. "I love your soul. It's not just these two things." After arriving at the hospital, many people were curious about Mia's body. They kept asking her which doctor made these two things. Mia looked at them and said, "What the hell are you doing? I was born like this." Mia's mother also wants to do beauty. However, she is different from Mia. This old witch is purely for beauty. Not only does she have to do pull-out wrinkles to whiten her eyes, she also has to pull out her butt to whiten her eyebrows. Even pulling out her limbs to remove her leg hair. Fatty acnes, pustules, hypoglycemia. Anyway, she can toss it all over. The marketing manager is introducing the hospital's service project. Mia's boyfriend, Michael, can't hold it. Because he is dizzy. The old witch is in that little body. This kid graduated from forensic medicine at that time. As a result, he fainted. He was kicked out at once. And now he can only do something like rubbing his skin or fixing the water pipe. When Mia was doing the checkup, she asked the doctor to be serious. He touched it back and forth for more than an hour. Then he said he could enlarge it to a G-cup. "I'm afraid it's a little scary if it's bigger." The doctor said yes, no problem. But in his heart, he regretted it. The old witch instantly complained that her daughter was stupid. Then Mia asked Michael for advice. Michael stared at the baby and said, "It's okay. No matter how old I am, I care about you." But everyone can see that he is not right in the heart. When she was about to have an operation, Mia told Michael that the baby was so heavy. She was about to die. She really couldn't bear it. But it was too sudden. She wanted to find some comfort from Michael. But Michael suddenly said, "Didn't the doctor just say that it could be enlarged? Why don't we think about it?" Mia urged Michael not to think about beauty. She even asked him to say goodbye to the baby. At this time, Daniel, the white hair, next to her listened in a hurry. The little girl didn't want this good thing. That's a big disrespect to Jesus. Besides, those at the airport knew it. I'm sure he'll kill her. I didn't expect Daniel to be so talkative. In an instant, Mia's nervousness was resolved. But in Michael's heart, there were 100,000 grass horses flying. The preparation work before the operation scared Michael. She was about to have an operation. The doctor not only didn't give the patient a blood test, but also drank coffee in the operating room. No matter how you look at it, this place is unreliable. In this way, she quarreled with the nurse. And the person in charge immediately came over and told Michael not to bother her. She claimed that her hospital was the strongest in the country. So she immediately arranged someone to take Michael everywhere. Daniel is the male duck of the hospital. Because it's basically a female patient, so she needs a guy like him who can talk. But this kid is not a fool. The tourist secretly went to the doctor's office to steal medicine. When Michael was in a daze, he suddenly heard a strange noise in a ward. When he went in, he found a naked woman tied to the bed. She was wearing a big tooth mask on her mouth. Michael looked at the poor girl and wanted to help pick up the thing. But he didn't expect that when he took it off, he was almost bitten by a woman. When he took a closer look, he found that it was a corpse, zombie. When Daniel heard the noise, he immediately rushed over. He was also shocked by this thing. He hurriedly pulled Michael out and warned him not to say what happened just now. Then Michael rushed into the operating room. When he pushed the door open, he was going to take Mia away. Fortunately, the nurse hadn't had time to inject the anesthetic. The nurse told Michael to get out of the way. But Michael thought that this was a slaughterhouse. He said nothing and didn't let Mia do the surgery here. As a result, in the dispute between the two sides, the anesthetic was stuck in Michael's hand. But at this time, the corpse had already run out. Michael found himself tied to the bed in the open. He thought he was going to be pulled to do the experiment. So he took all the urine back. At this time, the person in charge came in and told Michael not to toss it anymore. Otherwise, he would have lost his life. Michael was so scared that he promised not to toss it again. But the nurse just untied him. Michael rushed into the operating room and insisted on taking Mia away. But this made the nurse and the doctor very angry. And Mia was so angry that she wanted to die. She was sure that Michael didn't want her to be killed. But when they went out, they found something was wrong. Everyone ran out desperately, so they followed them up. But before they left, Mia suddenly remembered that her mother, Alison, was still doing the pull-up. So she was going to find the old witch first. But when a bunch of people were waiting for the elevator, a patient suddenly ran over. He shouted and said that he saw someone eating people. The doctor hesitated not to talk nonsense here. But the power went out as soon as the voice was recorded. At this time, someone proposed to go up the stairs. But as soon as these people walked out the door, they heard a terrible scream behind them. Obviously, something came over. Everyone rushed downstairs quickly. However, before they left, they found that the floor was full of corpses. They had to turn around and run to another place. When Mia and Michael were looking for the old witch, they suddenly heard a noise in the room. They opened the door curiously. It felt like the doctor was doing a re-examination for the patient. But the movement was too large. However, when the doctor turned around, he saw a piece of fat in his mouth. This time, the corpse began to chase Mia. And Michael was also stupid. When he was beating the monster, he pulled down the light on the ceiling. Coincidentally, he hit his own head, and at this moment, he fell into the water and touched the flame. Dr. Craval was stunned on the spot. Mia thought Michael was dead when she saw this situation. In addition, the corpse chased him. The fat man, Uli, who ran away just now hid in the kitchen. But he met a little girl, Janja, here. The girl recognized that Uli was a big fan. She saw that Uli risked his life to block the zombie. The girl had a crush on him at once. She also said that he might die today. She didn't want to die with a pure body, so they were going to do something exciting. But Uli said that he had just finished the enlargement surgery. Although he was still tangled with gauze and didn't recover, he was still gentle. So Uli planned to clean up first. As a result, all the water came out of the dragon's head. All of a sudden, Uli's head was soaked with water. Fortunately, the girl found the medicine, but she accidentally hit the bottom of Uli. Then she used a fire extinguisher to put out the fire for Uli. Uli's little brother fell to the ground. It's over. What's the point of living without the little brother? So she didn't care about the zombies outside. She was yelling to find a doctor to pick her up. As a result, she was eaten by the zombie as soon as she went out, and the girl on the other side was finally looking for her mother. But the old witch, Alison, couldn't get up at all, so she pushed the bed and ran out. But she didn't run far. Suddenly, she was stared at by a zombie. She finally hid in a room. However, the old woman was still bitten by the zombie. Fortunately, Daniel appeared in time to save the zombie. At the same time, Michael woke up. It turns out that he didn't die at all. He just fainted and passed out. When he thought of his girlfriend's safety, he came to a laboratory. There were all kinds of strange creatures in it. Some of them actually came back to life. He was so scared that he ran around everywhere. Fortunately, he met Dr. Craval, who was burning the data in the house. Obviously, those are all things that can't be reported. After a hard search, the survivors came together. Dr. Craval looked at Alison's wound. He said that the old witch was infected and had to be killed immediately. Then he picked up a big axe. Of course, Mia didn't do it. Dr. Craval pushed her away and started to do it. I didn't expect Alison to spit a little blood on her. Now Dr. Craval is infected, too. Daniel asked Dr. Craval if he should kill her, too. Dr. Craval said he was fine, and he has a vaccine formula. So a group of people went into a laboratory. Dr. Craval just did it and got the antidote. He gave the old witch a shot at the first time, but the antidote didn't work. Instead, the old witch accelerated the speed of mutation. Suddenly, Dr. Craval also started to spit blood. This is the source of another doctor's question about the virus. Dr. Craval said it was a test product from the headquarters. He found that this disease could make people lose their mind, but it can live a long life. So he wanted to study a drug that can keep you young forever. But he didn't know which bastard let the experimenter out. But when it came to the result of the study, the head of the headquarters turned Dr. Craval upside down. Obviously, he was afraid that Dr. Craval would reveal the secret. This time, Michael stood up. He said he had also been in the medical laboratory. He could save his mother-in-law with what he had learned all his life. However, when he was about to give the old witch a shot, the bandage suddenly started to loosen on Dr. Craval's back. The doctor saw that he was going to die, so he asked Daniel to cut off his arm. But when he lifted his axe, the axe fell off. In order not to die, the doctor actually used a chopper to break his arm, and the old witch had become a corpse at this time. Mia saw that her mother couldn't be saved. She killed the old witch with her own hand. At this time, the corpse was about to break in. She wanted to run out the back door, but the door couldn't be pushed. So Michael made a bomb with the medicine in the lab. He wanted to blow up the door, but Mia suddenly walked to the door. She opened the door. When they came to the roof, Dr. Craval told them that it was safe to go to the building opposite. But when they were about to jump over the board, the doctor who was missing his arm lost too much blood. He fell down and broke his arm. After everyone ran into the opposite building, he thought that there would be no more corpses here. But when he opened the door, he saw that his mother-in-law was everywhere. Dr. Craval suggested that he run out of the garbage channel. Before he jumped, Daniel threatened Dr. Craval to give him $50 million. Otherwise, he would say that they cultivated the virus. Dr. Craval wanted to cut a knife, but on the first floor, a woman was blocked by a corpse. Everyone went up to save her. Only Dr. Craval came to a small room and moved a corpse to the door. Then he asked Daniel to go in and have a look, but he was bitten when he just came in. Dr. Craval thought that he could force him to save her, but he didn't expect that Daniel was so cruel. He jumped up and saved his mother-in-law. Then Daniel pretended to be weak. He continued to run away with everyone. Not long after, they found the exit. When they saw the army guarding outside, the woman who had just been saved ran out directly. But the army didn't come to save them at all. They came to clean up the scene. Daniel shouted to the people outside and told them not to wait for the people outside to come to save them. They wouldn't let a living person get out of this building. The three of them ran back. On the way, Michael was bitten by a monster. At this time, Daniel led them into the sewer. However, he also lured a large group of corpses into the sewer. But running around, Michael couldn't hold on. He hurriedly took off his wedding ring to propose to Mia. Mia was full of black blood. How could he propose in the sewer? The corpse behind him was about to catch up. Mia turned around and ran away. Soon they found a well that could go out. But when Mia pushed it open, the army outside found it. They called a car to hold the well. Mia's finger was also stuck in it. At this time, the corpse also caught up. Mia persuaded them to leave quickly, but Michael couldn't bear to leave his wife. He took off his glasses directly and cut off Mia's finger. This was more cruel than the 10 cruel punishments in Manchuria. When the three of them found another exit, Mia climbed out and looked. There was no army outside, but the ladder was too high. The two men could only walk one. Daniel thought that Michael had been bitten. It was better to leave him a chance. He also swore that he would take good care of Mia. Unexpectedly, Michael agreed. Then he used his strong will to fight with a large group of corpses. But after a while, he saw the bomb he made. In this way, he chose to return to the well. But the bomb blew up the surrounding barriers. Those corpses also swam out. But Michael didn't die from the bomb. Even the virus on his body was cured by the water. At this time, Daniel and Mia also managed to escape. But when the car stopped, Daniel couldn't. He thought he was about to become a corpse. He longed for Mia to fulfill his last wish. Then he put him under his body. Unexpectedly, Mia found a screwdriver and killed Daniel. Then she drove his car to continue her escape. Suddenly, something like a corpse appeared in front of her. She hit a car in the middle of the road, and it was her boyfriend who hit the car. But Mia didn't recognize it. Instead, she ran up at a corner until she saw that this person was her boyfriend. Then she reacted. She didn't control the speed of the car at that time. She hit the car directly. Then everyone died.